Hello and welcome. My name is Jessica McCoy. I am currently pursuing my Master's of Education in Building Leadership with the intent of becoming a building principal. And I am also looking to further my career by pursuing my superintendent's license. So what I would like to do is just walk you through my ePortfolio and kind of highlight certain points that I find very important to my current status as pursuing this degree and also what my future will look like. So to start off, the candidate info, that's where I went to first when I started my ePortfolio. It was the point to where everything kind of began for me. I'm going to go ahead and go to the goals here. This is my introduction and goals. So I created a video for you with a slideshow, and it just explains who I am, what I currently do in the field of teaching, and why I am pursuing my degree in building leadership. It also lays out some goals that I have for myself, both recent or short-term goals and long-term goals for the future. So I definitely recommend you go in and watch that video. That way you have sound and you can see everything about me. All right, the next thing is my leadership philosophy. And this is one that I'm very passionate about. I did create this leadership philosophy in a class after doing some research on the different type of leadership styles. I found myself to be very transformational with the type of style of leadership that I want to do. And so with this, I pointed out 4 key traits of transformational leadership. That first one is being a role model. So I definitely want to be the type of leader that others want to model themselves after, because that means that I'm doing it right or I'm being productive at it. That's important. I also believe in having other members and assigning them to roles that they are going to be most successful in, because I would never want to put someone in a position to where they would not be successful. So I felt like that was huge for me. I'm a big believer in teamwork and collaboration, and you'll see that throughout my ePortfolio of all the different mentions of collaboration that I put. I think that in order for any leader, school leader, to operate a school, have things running smoothly, they need the involvement of those around them. So I truly do believe in putting staff first, with the, as far as the leadership role goes, including them in that. And I feel like both as the principal myself and the staff around me, that we would have or achieve better student success and overall a positive school climate by allowing that teamwork to take place. And I also believe in motivating others by inspiring them to be like what I want to be. I really hope that the majority of teachers out there eventually have that goal of wanting to do more in education. And that's been a goal of mine for a long time. I finally have gotten to the point of pursuing it, and I want others to feel the same way and get passionate about it. At the bottom of my leadership philosophy, I do discuss 2 members, current professionals or professionals that use that transformational leadership style. The first one is my current administrator. She's been my administrator for the past 3 years, and it was because of her that I truly did pursue this degree. Like I said, I've thought about it for years and years. I had a family. I had the responsibilities of school. We also do other jobs like farming, and we're landlords outside of school. So we have a lot of responsibilities, and I just didn't know when to fit it in. And so I spoke to her about my desire to do it. And between her and my husband both, it's just like, you've got to go for it now, because if you don't do it now, you never will. So I decided to pursue it. I'm very happy that I did. I do owe a lot to her. She has definitely shown me the ups and downs of administration. I've seen some of the positive things that she does and all the involvement she has, not only in that leadership role, but also with the students, with the families, with the other staff members and how they respect her. I want to be that. And then also, some of the setbacks or things that when things don't go right, or the disciplinary issues and things like that. In my current school, the principal serves as a superintendent as well. And so there's a lot involved and I've noticed those fields overlap a lot. So, she's been just a great role model for me. And then also I chose Condoleezza Rice because growing up in high school, I read her biography. She was a person that immediately inspired me. I considered a career in political science because of her. I looked at being involved on that side of it, and I didn't feel like I was impacting enough people. I want to impact the youth of today. And so I chose teaching as being the way to pursue that. And now that I've done teaching for 13 years, I believe that I need to do something more. I'm always going for something more. And so I chose, administration, and I want to continue with that. And I hope to make a difference in somebody's lives and be able to be that role model for them. So my leadership philosophy does show a lot of that passion, and I hope you see it in there as well. The next thing is my plan of study. This just outlines the different classes that I took. I started in the fall of 2018, and then I did 2 straight years of fall, spring, and summer classes. I did finish my classes at the end of summer of 2020, and it's just taken me a little bit to finalize this ePortfolio and get everything that I deemed important in here. And so that's why I'm finally finishing up this spring. All right, and then my resume, this is just updated to all of my educational experience. I definitely think some of the keynotes of that is just my skills. I do like to sit back and observe others. And so I find that important, especially when you're a leader. You can learn a lot from people just by being quiet and listening. Again, it talks about cooperative groups and that cooperative learning. That's huge for me. I'm very reliable. People do come to me if they need something done, and I pride myself in that. I am organized when I need to be, and I'm also open to learn new ideas. So a lot of times in education or in my school, I have taken on other roles just because I'm interested in learning more about it. So that's the information behind my candidate profile, I guess you could say. The other half to this ePortfolio are my activities. And so when I was compiling these, I'm a secondary teacher. I teach secondary math, and I did feel like I focused a lot of what I did on secondary education. But as I went through and looked at a lot of my activities, I noticed that they overlapped into the elementary as well, or into the district. And so when it came down to it, I was having to pick and choose where I really wanted to place things because it did fit in multiple areas. So I did go through and fill out the activity form, and there's a spreadsheet at the bottom where you can pull it up and be able to see all the different things that I've done and in what areas I felt like they fit for the standard. There were a few that overlapped, but I did have more than the 10 on the secondary level, and so I was able to have those overlap in that way. And my administrative verification, as I said before, my current principal also serves as the superintendent. So she actually signed off at all 3 levels because we're a K-12 building, and she is the only administrator on staff. So that is included with her signature or her approval of all 3 of those. Then I have my annotated bibliography. This was the 3rd or 4th one that I created from the start of my degree, or all my coursework till now. This was the longest by far of the ones that I had created before, but I do learn a lot every time I do them. I was actually surprised with some of the sources of how much it really made me stop and think about if I would follow that model or the research that was presented, if that would be something I could see myself doing as an administrator. So it really did get me thinking by looking through all those different sources about what type of leader I would want to be and if it would fit my style or not. Then we have the 3 different PowerPoints that you can look through. I created a district one. It has 4 different activities on the district level that shows just the areas that I was focused on. It said no more than 5 I did have 5 at the start, but then I really thought one of them needed to move to secondary, so I ended up with 4. And so it just goes through on each of these. I tried to include either documents or I did have some videos and some, and it just lists the different standards and things that fit on each of those. So please look through that and see. I did the same thing on elementary. Elementary was one of the areas, like I said before, it wasn't as main of a focus, so I have 7 in this one, and I went through it as well. And this is one you can see here that had a video on it, and it went through about teacher evaluations in school. Then as you go forward some more, I also talked about some things that I've actually done in the classroom, not just in this coursework, with adopting new curriculum and being the one responsible for choosing that. And then it just has the different graphics and things that I was able to use through my courses to create those. Secondary does have the most, and the big thing I want to point out in secondary is that I did put some things in here about KESA. KESA is the Kansas Education Systems Accreditation. And so with that, I am a part of the district leadership team, which really does serve our building team as well. And I've kind of taken on a leadership role in that. My principal has allowed me to. I've created slideshows for our yearly presentations with our OVT team or OVT members. I have also been the main staff member this year, especially attending all the trainings on how to get things prepared. We actually will have a meeting coming up really soon because we are in year 4 pause. And so we're still meeting with our OVT just to discuss our future moving forward. So I've learned a lot as well on that and how KESA fits into the principal's role and the amount of responsibilities a principal has with the school improvement in that accreditation model. It seems overwhelming, but I feel like I have a good footing moving forward because I've had the experience. And then I do have my reflection, and this is something that I would like to say was hard for me to write. I did one character flaw that I feel like I have is procrastination. And the only area that I ever procrastinate in is with the success for myself. So I did put in the reflection about that is the one thing that I learned from this that I can't continue with moving forward, is that I have to allow myself to succeed no matter what. I don't procrastinate when it comes to anything else. I am always striving to do more and do better. And so that was something that I've learned from this. It's definitely, this ePortfolio has definitely opened my eyes to a lot about myself, you know, as a leader, but just as an individual. And so I wanted to make sure that I expressed that in my reflection. So I highly recommend you go in there and you read about it. It does explain, you know, my process, why I'm doing what I am, why I want to be there. And it's just an honest reflection of me and everything that went into putting this together. So thank you for watching. Please review all of this. And I hope you see what you need to see to know that I will be that building leader that schools out there need. Thank you.